Hey everyone, Doordug here again. I thought today I would go over a short video describing the quotas in production and how it works. I know for me it was a bit of a learning curve. I'm hoping this will help out some of the newer people to the game with how once you get higher up in the tier 3 and 4 area, how you can control your buildings a little better so that people aren't either making runaway items that are way too many and you are wasting materials and time on that, or just not enough and struggling keeping things going. Some of the best examples of this, you can see first that several of my buildings are on pause. This is because I've set limits to how much they should be making. Now, the confusion for me originally was not realizing that these limits that you were setting in here were for the whole town. So this is what, when you hit R, your settlement items, these are the numbers that you'll be aiming for right here. So I am, for instance, let's start off with the Fletcher. Where is he? There he is. I'm aiming for 500 arrows and I think 15 crossbows and no bows. They were, I guess they hand in some of their old bows when you make new stuff because I just switched over, and that seems to be where that came from. But for this, I've pretty much told them just make one if it gets down to one, which won't happen, and production is halted. Arrows make 500, so they are actively producing arrows until this hits 500. Crossbows, same thing, make 15, so because some people have just recently changed in their old ones for new ones, or what have you, once that hits 15, that will stop. Now what happens when they reach these is the building will pause. The workers will go back into the labor force, which is fantastic because if anyone else is like me, I'm always struggling with keeping the labor force buoyant. I guess I build on the leading edge of how many people I have, so it's always, right where the laborers are maxed out, and I really should slow down, but that's just one of the issues I have anyways. So for these, I bought a bunch of tools. As everyone knows, tools are very difficult to keep stocked because everybody uses them and they break too easily at this point. It's just to state also that this is 0.8, or patch 0.8. 0.0. I was just raided before I started this video, so a few villagers died, but we kicked them out, and I'm upgrading my military and things as I just started tier 3 and I'm heading towards tier 4 like I stated. Anyways, Blacksmith and Armoury are two of the ones that I had the most trouble with because of the large gears taking so many iron bars. And what's happening, if you leave these quotas unset, they will constantly make the easier to make items if there's no limits put on them because they require less bars. So as they stock it with bars, there's enough to make these much more often than there is to make the big gears. So a lot of times what the workers will do is just make the lesser ones over and over and over, and they'll completely ignore or be idle because there's not enough bars to make these. So if you set quotas, that's a little easier to do. Now, having the tools, again, is a very difficult thing to keep on top of. I just bought a whole bunch from a trader. I wanted to keep 50 on hand, which obviously that's the case. Same thing with the swords. I want to have 10, and there's another 5 in the trader for selling as well, because some of the rare guys that come by actually do like to buy weapons and armor, and sometimes the heavy armor and heavy weapons as well, which are very good selling items if you can keep them on hand. And then, of course, the big gears, I want to keep about 5 of them on hand for the same reason, is you start getting a lot of buildings using these, and they kind of wear out in a rotation. And if you're just depending on the automated system where it's like just infinity, they try and do their best, but it's not set up in a way that it really works. As for the sliders, it seemingly mostly just kind of applies a light pressure of what they're supposed to work on kind of first. The shields as well. Shields and armor, always tough. They want to make a lot more shields because they're easier to make. I don't know why it doesn't require metal. I guess they're not metal shields. And the iron bars, again, is a problem for the chest pieces, but if you set limits, they'll eventually have nothing else to do, and they'll stock much more iron because they're not busy making shields easily, and then they'll start making the chests a lot more better. So there you go. I hope that helps keep everything organized. I know it sure helped me when I figured it out. keeping things in a limited fashion often will help your labor pool for spurts here and there as they're not making things, and also will keep your more complicated buildings from making the lesser or easier to make items instead of the harder to make items, which helps the whole village as well. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.